Hey everybody, John Granato and Lance Zierlein from the bench, mornings on ESPN 97.5 and 92.5. And if you haven't subscribed to this channel yet, please do. Listen, let's talk a little bit about this team right here, our Houston Astros. Last week, the LA Times published a report in which fired Angels clubhouse employee implicated several Major League Baseball pitchers, including Gerrit Cole, Justin Verlander, Max Scherzer, and others, for using pine tar. He had a concoction. He was the clubhouse attendant on the visitor side for the Angels, and he had a concoction of rosin and pine tar. And Gerrit Cole texted him and said, I need some more of that pine tar stuff. Now, salty Dodger fans used the opportunity to cry more about how Kershaw is now the de facto best pitcher of his era over Verlander. Those tweets were quickly rebutted with images of what appears to be pine tar on Kershaw's hat during various playoff games. Is this really a scandal, or is this just another example of Dodger fans rationalizing their team's failures, Lance?
No, I think it's you know what? I'll put it this way. If Astros stuff is a scandal, make this a scandal too. And I don't care if Gerrit Cole gets hit. I don't care if Justin Verlander gets hit. If one thing is a scandal, keep that same energy and make this a scandal. That's a dirty hat. But just, let's see. One thing can't be a scandal and the other thing not. Look, the bottom line is the players don't really believe en masse that pine tar is a huge scandal because some of them feel like it gives better grip to the ball. But I see it as an ability to tighten up the spin rate, which I do think is a major advantage. But for whatever reason, that's part of the unwritten rules where that's okay. But what the Astros did isn't. I think it should all be not okay. And I think the fans who gripe the loudest should keep that same energy across the board. We know that they won't.
It's but so I funny. Think we had Lance Berkman on last week, and he said, no big deal, whatever. So they get.
But he's from a different generation too. He's not from a generation that came out. Remember how much pearl clutching was going on from players around the country whenever the Astro stuff came out? We'd never seen that before.
No, the Astro stuff was the first time that's ever happened that players came out against players saying that you were cheating. When it's been, when baseball is historic. I mean, steroids. Are you kidding
when they
me?
all have cheaters on their teams?
They all did. But that's the thing is it was just the Astros, doing this while the Red Sox weren't. Okay. While they weren't. So that's why they're now steroids. Half of every team was doing steroids. So I'm not going to turn in my brother here when he's on steroids, even though he's costing me a job when I'm not doing steroids. When a lot of guys lost their livelihoods because of the steroid era.
Right.
It's just the hypocrisy of baseball is unbelievable, and it continues because this should be a scandal. These guys are cheating. They're getting a grip, and hitters are making outs because these pitchers are getting a better grip on the baseball. Now, according to the report, a former Angels bat boy stated that the Angels players knew about this, which is why the plaintiff's attorney is saying that this guy's a one-man scapegoat. He got fired by the Angels. He's the scapegoat here when he shouldn't be. They claim Major League Baseball has evidence of other pitchers using pine tar, but didn't want to cause another scandal. Does Major League Baseball picking one person to be the scapegoat for widespread cheating sound familiar? It's what happened to the Astros.
Well, or the Red Sox had that one guy who was so scapegoated that he ended up getting a raise or a promotion after it was all done. This is ridiculous. Look, if you want to get out, quote unquote, cheating, gaining an unfair advantage, I don't understand why they're compartmentalized and certain things are really shown a light upon and other things don't carry the same. It's not viewed with the same gravity. Why don't you try to get rid, because baseball already knows they can't get rid of it, but why don't you try to get rid of it across the board? Why don't you say this isn't right, this isn't right, this isn't right? It's just like, college sports is just kind of given in. There's cheating across the board in college sports, but they don't want to fight it. They don't want to, get all their best teams in trouble. They don't want to find all this stuff, so they let it go, and then it perpetuates an issue and a problem behind the scenes. The same thing has happened with baseball, only the self-righteousness and the indignation from certain players and certainly writers, it's just inconsistent, which is anytime we have inconsistency, on anything, it's irritating to me.
Absolutely.
I want to see consistency.
Well,
but, they're not going to be consistent, and this is a performance advantage.
Well, we've seen pitchers with the goo just dripping. Major League Baseball does nothing about it ever, but because they don't.
Then say it's legal. Then make it legal. Make it legal.
And what you said, they're hiding.
Legalize goo.
They're protecting the biggest teams. The letter that hasn't been unsealed yet is protecting the Yankees. It is instance after instance after instance. The Astros were the Angels clubhouse visiting manager. It's the same deal. You're taking the heat for what everybody was doing.
Hold on a second. I would have fired that guy for giving the opposing team some of your sticky icky that you had.
He was giving
it to his own players. What the hell are you doing giving this to Gerrit Cole?
He was giving it to his own players too. He was giving it to everybody.
That's what I'm saying. That's fine.
Guys,
don't give it to Gerrit Cole in our division.
Why are you pocket watching him? He got to make a buck.
Fire him for giving it to Gerrit Cole. That's why he should have been fired.
Everybody should be fired for even knowing who Gerrit Cole.
Did you see the Astros putting trash cans and bats in the opposing teams? Did the Astros put trash cans, bats, and a computer in the other team's dugout? No.
Well, that's okay. You give it. Listen, he was the visiting team clubhouse attendant. You gotta give it. You gotta
Did the Giants have a bunch of Decadanadrol or whatever lined up in the dugouts when you were going to come play the Giants in the late '90s, early 2000s?
Guys got to make a butt. Ho's got to eat too, Lance. Ho's got to eat too.
I mean, I didn't say they didn't.